Welcome back to another trade video. This edition, we are noting the Dynasty trades for contenders and teams looking to retool for the future. It is crunch time here. We have 2 weeks left here in the fantasy playoffs. So let's go ahead and get right into it with trade recommendations. Let's start off with teams looking to retool for the future. It will be important to target the teams remaining in the playoffs. They may be looking for that one player to solidify that championship push. After identifying these teams, you should look to target those younger players or their first and second round picks. The previously handful amount of videos here identified players fitting these criteria. So a unique edge to look for is players on injured reserve. This could mean Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, or even Tank Dell. If you are able to package together a meaningful trade offer that will help them now and have foreseeable future starters in them, that would be ideal. Let's work off trading for Joe Burrow in a Superflex league. Here are some recent trade offers. Sent Lamar Jackson, received Joe Burrow and a 2024 second. Sent Patrick Mahomes, received Joe Burrow and 2 2024 seconds. Let's look at trades for Mark Andrews. Sent Evan Ingram, received Mark Andrews. Sent George Kittle, received Mark Andrews. If you are enjoying the video, please drop a like and subscribe for more content. Now, we all know Joe Burrow and Mark Andrews are top tier players at their positions. So let's look at the Tank Dell example. He has an 83.4 PFF grade, which is great for a rookie. He had 75 targets through 11 games, before he was on IR, which it will pace out to 115.9 over the season. PFF also has Dell ranked 15th overall at wide receiver. He is a great target here for a rebuilder. Now, this does mean that if he is on a team that is in the playoffs still. So here are recent trades. Sent Deebo Samuel, received Dell and a 2024 third. Sent Derrick Henry, received Dell. And then sent Jacoby Myers and Tony Pollard, received Dell. So typically looking at, Mark Andrews, Joe Burrow, these people on IR, Dell, you're going to be swapping for the same position and either getting younger with similar production and or also acquiring additional draft capital. Remember, you should be targeting the teams currently in the playoffs and looking to offload any aging assets to them to help that championship push. Now, there is a possibility these players are not on the contending teams. However, if you do notice someone on injured reserve that is worth pursuing, you should go ahead and target them. If not, the teams in the playoffs still should be looking to get better, and you may have that right now production player that they can utilize. In return, you should be looking for young and proven assets, not just young assets. Make sure they are proven. And then, of course, additionally, any draft capital as well. If you are still in the playoffs, you should look to acquire players who will help your championship push, obviously. But you should also do this while not costing you too much at the same time. So if I need running back help, and this is a PPR league, I would look to acquire Jaylen Warren. Pittsburgh, they do have a friendly Week 16 and Week 17 matchup for running backs. And they play Cincinnati Week 16, Seattle Week 17. Good matchups here for Pittsburgh running backs. Warren, he has seen 8 straight games with at least 3 targets. And in these games, he is averaging 4 targets and 3.1 receptions per game. Now, there is an assumption Warren, he may take the lead role in 2024, but let's look at some recent trades for Warren. A 2025 second round pick and a 2024 fourth. The next trade here, a 2024 second. Next trade, Zach Moss and a 2024 third. And then a final trade here, Chase Brown and Darren Waller. So it seems like the market may not necessarily agree that this would be the case. Sending a second away to make a push for the championship does seem like a good move for you right now. Or if you can offload any assets like those trades involving Zach Moss and Darren Waller, that is always intriguing too. If you need wide receiver help, you should look to acquire the aging assets with great playoff matchups. In this series, over the last handful amount of weeks, I have noted Cortland Sutton and Tyler Lockett as like kind of two main wide receivers fitting this description. They both have the sixth and seventh best wide receiver matchups for the remaining 2 weeks. Like Philadelphia and New Orleans, they have good matchups, but no one's going to get rid of A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, or Chris Olave for cheap, right? So I'm not going to go back into the details on Lockett and Sutton. Just know that they are good options. Right now, I will recommend DeAndre Hopkins. The Titans have the best schedule for wide receivers over these next 2 weeks. They play Seattle week 16, Houston week 17. Hopkins, he has 33 targets over the last 3 weeks, and he still should continue to get peppered the ball. Looking at recent trades for Hopkins, someone sent Kristen Kirk. Now, this goes back to that IR theory I had earlier. The contender gets that right now piece in Hopkins, and that rebuilder gets younger with Kirk. Another trade here was a 2024 second round pick, and this happened multiple times. Another trade was a 2025 first. I guess someone really wants to make that push. And I did do a study on aging wide receivers who are considered, elite. So just know that Hopkins may have a few more years left in the tank, pending health. But we can see Hopkins is looking at least, a good second round value here. And that is well worth the swing for the fences to help you win the championship. Now, lastly, if you need tight end help, I may just recommend Cade Otton here. And I know he is not that aging asset that I've been talking about, but the price may just be right. Here are some recent trades. Antonio Gibson. Now, this was the only straight swap, and here is a package. Someone sends Darren Waller for Otton and Marquise Brown. Unfortunately, most trades, they happened over 3 weeks ago, or there were IDP players involved. Still, you can see it is relatively cheap to acquire Otton, especially if you need some tight end help in the playoffs. Otton, he does have an intriguing season so far, 57 targets, 4 touchdowns, but an important factor here is these next 2 weeks have great matchups against Jacksonville and New Orleans. Both teams are top 6 for fantasy points allowed against tight ends. An added bonus here with Otton is he is only in his second season, and he may be useful as a plug-in type tight end for your dynasty rosters over the next couple of years, for the bye weeks or if injuries happen. Now, Tampa Bay, they may look to move off Mike Evans and or Chris Godwin this offseason. This does not mean Otton will take on those vacated targets, just that if he does continue to develop and work hard, he will at least have a chance to earn that throughout the offseason and upcoming training camp in 2024. Thank you for watching today's Dynasty Trade video. Go on and make these trades if you are a rebuilder looking for the 2024 season, or if you are still in the playoffs looking to win that championship. If you did enjoy the video, please consider dropping a like and subscribing to the channel for more content. Check out our weekly content, and I will catch you here next week for another trade video.